Welcome to the Edge.
Well, let's see now. We were talking about sex and what's happening today and how rampant it is and how out of control it is. And pornography is all over the place and sin is everywhere.
Can I
And
say one thing? This is the producer of the show of I'll Get the Edge. I'm going to be involved in the show. I'm going to give a little commentary, just a little bit, give a little answers to a couple questions, maybe give a couple questions to Augie himself, the host of the show. And I want to thank Augie for allowing me to produce the show. Thank you very much, Augie. Continue on.
no problem, Alex. So, that Mardi Gras we have, it's done at the time leading into Lent. Christians have their celebrations ahead of times. And you go to Louisiana, New Orleans, big Catholic town. Mardi Gras, just like in, or almost like you would go to Venezuela, another Catholic country, and all the states in South America, New Mexico, what have you, has a version of Mardi Gras. Wild, unabashed, any kind of life you want to have. The Greeks had a thing called Dionysian festivals after the god Dionysius, who was a god for freedom and fecundity, that's having sex of all variety, of any age, as long as you didn't harm anyone. That was perfectly free. And of the Greeks, they would have these festivals throughout the year, every so often. I should check this a little more. How regular was it? But it was often enough that the Christian Church adopted Mardi Gras unofficially, and in many other ways more so. But what's moral in one time is not necessarily moral in another. So we have had Mardi Gras all the way back, as far as anyone can remember, at the time of slavery. Blacks were included in some of this stuff way back. Louisiana had cotton fields, and they also had beautiful mulatto women, dark, half white, half black. So sex is an interesting thing. Under the law in the United States, if you have sex with someone under the age of 18, you're guilty of assault and rape. Whether you believe it's right or not is irrelevant, because the law says the person under that age is not capable of consent. So it's not consenting adults. And when it's not consenting adults, it's rape. Matt Gaetz, a congressman in Florida, is going to go to jail for this, more than likely. He went across state lines. This happened to a governor from New York way back, who took a woman across state lines who was adult. But you turn a woman across life for sex, that's illegal. And underage, especially, that's illegal. And how many? That's what Epstein was doing, the guy that we talked to before. But coming back to Dionysian Festival, the celebration of life is really what it kind of is. And what that does is it gives people freedom for a short period of time. In old Greece, you were free to have sex at any and all ages. There's no laws about that at all. As long as someone was not injured or hurt in the process, it was not a crime, and there was no guilt about that. Eros was a god of sex. Different other gods involved in the Greek theology, if you will, was involved. At the time of Christ, think about that. The Christians took 300 years to make up their mind what morality was, the kind of morality they wanted, and they couldn't decide for that long. It took Constantine, the emperor of Rome, 325 to tell them, so to speak, shit or get off the pot. And you're going to have Christianity that says you have a God, the only Son of God, or you're going to have Christian Jews and brotherhood, because that's what the Our Father is, about brotherhood, not a single God, an only Son of God. Anyway,
I want to jump in real quick. Now, Christianity does not. If you're a Jew, you're not Jew no more. If you're Christian, you're no longer Jew. I want to say that.
What's that?
You're no longer a Jew if you're Christian. You're a Christian.
Oh, I don't know about that, because today you have what they call atheist Jews, all variety of Jews. It's not the orthodoxy it once was. At one time that may have been true, but not today. I wouldn't say.
Christianity has branched off to two ways. You have Christianity where you have Christians where they believe in religion, where they believe in baptism. They believe in Baptist, they believe in Pentecostal. They believe in
There's all variety of
Catholic.
versions of. Yeah, there's all variety of versions of Christian. But
Yeah, that's
what,
what hurts Christianity.
So what? What's this have to do with sex?
No, I'm saying the thing is that the Christian, there's also the other Christian, the real Christian out there.
What's that supposed to mean?
That's separate from the Catholics, the Pentecostals, the Baptists. There
Well,
is
but they're all essentially they all if they know what they're doing, understand that the Christianity didn't become codified until the Sermon on the Mount. And the Sermon on the Mount by Jesus, not somebody else, not his brothers or not his sister, none of those people. Jesus himself basically called out people through the prayer called the Our Father, which is a prayer of brotherhood. And it's our Father, not my Father. Remember that. A lot of people
of course.
Yeah, so that makes a big difference.
You're a big believer in the brotherhood of Jesus.
Yes, I am.
Your concept of the brotherhood of Jesus is correct. I want to say, as a producer, my opinion is Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus came down through God because God wanted an example made. This is how you live.
Well,
This is the
this is
correct way.
Alex talking, folks, not Augie.
No, of course. This is the producer's Alex Willis. I'm the producer. I love Augie to death.
I entirely disagree with the last part of what you said, Alex. That
Yes, and I want you to explain to the viewers because it's really great what you say. I mean, I'm telling you, I respect your opinion because it's incredible. I mean, I've never heard someone's concept of Jesus the way your concept of Jesus is, and I love Jesus because Jesus obviously is my God. But the way your concept of Jesus is incredible, and obviously tell your concept of Jesus and the brothers of Jesus, and I'll let you speak. But I think it's incredible. I'm complimenting you. I'm not
well,
disagreeing with you.
Christ said, he referred to himself as the Son of Man, but realize the write-ups of what are talked about on Jesus or anything like that didn't happen until was the Gutenberg press happened. When was that? About 1400, somewhere in there, right? Everything had to be handwritten before, and oftentimes in Jewish script, but sometimes in Greek script, because the Greek Orthodox had their script too, and they actually predate a lot of the Christian stuff. And from the death of Christ forward to 325, the Catholic Church, the Christian Church, the Greek Church, whatever it was going on. They were fighting, and they were naming their bishops. Different people were becoming bishops, and the bishops were fighting amongst themselves. So when Constantine decided that he was going to be a Christian because it became the dominant, it took over from the Roman Church, or the Roman gods. Remember, the Roman gods, they're all kinds of gods. There's a whole list of them. Well, the Romans believed in their gods. And one god that lasted forever was the god called the emperor, Caesar. And so when there was a new Caesar and coming on, say, Hail Caesar, God, our God forever. And they would have Dionysian festivals to celebrate the new god coming in, whoever it was. And there's a whole raft of gods that came in, and they had Dionysian festivals, or some people might refer to as fuck festivals. And so, what this say the new god Caesar had to prove he was a more adroit sexual partner of women than any other man could be. And there were women who competed to outfuck the god if they could, and oftentimes they could, but the god never would admit it. And if he was a true god, the Caesar at the time, he would certainly proclaim himself the real God that was going to live forever. But then somehow along the way, he died. And when he died, there had to be a new
question. How would someone outfuck a god?
Through sheer fatigue.
I mean, you said it. Someone compete to outfuck a god. I mean, what would they do? Is it a woman or a man or?
Well, the god is no. You didn't. Remember, the Romans regarded Caesar, the Caesar of the moment, was the God that lived forever. That's their idea before Christ. So I believe Christ took that God that lived forever and put it into our Father, our brotherhood, and said, and love and forgive one another. And love and forgiveness lasts forever. That's the God that lasts forever. That's in the prayer of the Sermon on the Mount. Love and forgiveness. And so he convinced enough people of followers and believers in Rome and the Roman gods to accept Christianity as a better alternative for a God that lived forever, because Constantine was a leader and he was a God that lived forever, and he knew he didn't and wouldn't. And that he adopted Christ to tell his people, I'm your leader, I'm your Caesar, but I won't live forever, but the God of love and forgiveness does. And the Christians are right. Okay? That's and you can find out that there was a point when he decided that Christianity could no longer be persecuted. It was persecuted somewhat, but not so much like they like to tell you. But nonetheless, a lot of the Jews went to Rome and lived in Rome peaceably. They weren't persecuted. And the reason was many of them were educated in Greek, but there were many very smart people, and the people in the Senate, the Roman Senate, would hire smart young people to educate or tutor their children, because they had a pretty civilized government in those days. So nonetheless, the Christ character changed the ball game. And then he said it's either Christian Jews and Jesus and brotherhood, or it's the Holy Roman Empire. Take your pick. You want power? This is what you get. You can't have both. And that was told to the Christians, all the Christians at the time, whatever they leaned toward, that's how the game was going to be played. And Rome decided that, and they all went along with it. It didn't change till much, much later. And these different denominations changed. The Roman Catholic Church, Eastern Orthodox Church were the dominant Christian um, religions, and Eastern Greek Orthodox and all of that were just as powerful as Rome. So the falling away, the Lutherans came in around the time of King Henry VIII. King Henry VIII created the Episcopal Church, Church of England, and then other churches broke off later on. They're much younger, much later. The point is, this whole sex thing we were talking about early on is celebrated, and the celebration traditionally still goes on. And when you go to New Orleans, people expect to get laid every 5 minutes down there. And if you go to Venezuela, the same thing's true. A lot of the countries of South and Central America that have that kind of celebration. It's sex, 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 and more of it. And so anyway, we were talking about that, and we come back around to sex again, and the church, brings into, well, you got to protect children. These are reasons why we have to create laws. We have to regulate things. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun not to regulate things. Anyway, so much for fun. Anyway, we'll come back to you the next time. It's a it's a cornucopia of choices, plenty of it today. Is it good, bad, or the worst of ever? Hard to know. Um, Everybody likes to know, think they have a pathway to God, but Christ, in his own words, according to the Gutenberg Press, remember, said, I'm the Son of Man. That's all he said he was. And he never once referred to himself as the only Son of God. He never once said other, and he said, when he said our Father, he said, I'm your brother. You're my sister. You're my brother. We're brothers and sisters. We are a brotherhood. And that's the hood, folks. That's you, me, and everybody. So I'm at that level, and Christ said so. I just, in his own words, all the interpretations, all the Old Testament crap that comes up to try to make him into a God, to ruin him. I think that ruins him, because it's harder to be like a God than like a person, like a brother. You can respect a brother, you can be like a brother, and you have to love a brother. And if you do that, a lot of things go right, folks. So follow your brother. Go right. Thank you. And subscribe and watch and tell us what you think. I appreciate your ears, your eyes, and your mind. Take care. Alex?